Hello, it's acoustic panel building day today. So I've got timber already cut. Let me swing this around. That's basically what I've got to build. I've got to build another 15 of these. So it's bog standard, off the shelf, cheapest timber you can get. So it's 22mm by 50mm by 1.8 meters, and then that's cut off 600 by 1200 basically. So internally it's 600 by about 1160 something, 66. So my rock wool should fit in there with just a little cut of about that much, about 44mm on each cut, but it's 600 wide, so it'll just slot perfectly, and then I've just got a little off cut to cut on each one lengthwise. So today it's basically gonna be a very repetitive gluing and screwing another 16 panels. So what I'm probably going to do now, I'm going to set this GoPro up on the windowsill, set it to like a time lapse on the GoPro, and it'll just be sped up of me basically building 16 panels. Lots of wood. Okay, so it's really straightforward. Gonna hold that just slightly proud of the base. So let me just cut and hold that in place. There we go. So that's just sitting slightly proud now. And then we're gonna get a bit of timber. This is the long end. That slots nicely in there, and you can just do this one up slightly to just hold it in place. So what I'm going to do, just line those up, and I mean, because this is being covered in cloth, this is not accurate. It doesn't need to be accurate, you know, because it's going to be covered in cloth at the end of the day. So you just want to line that up side to side and top to bottom, and then I'm basically going to drill 2 pilot holes in there, and then I'm going to glue underside and that side, and then we're going to screw the screws in. So let's do that now. Just normal PVA wood glue. So just going to turn that over. Some glue. Actually, I'm going to need to take a glove off, I think, for this. Take that off. I'm just going to smush that in there. Smush that across there. Over. Using 50mm, just bog standard 50. The screws that actually came with all the soundproofing. So they came with the soundproofing, so unscrew that a little bit, clean off that glue, and then just again, because this is being covered in cloth, there's nothing, you don't have to worry about being neat or anything. You can just rub the glue over the wood. And then flip that around. Get do another short one and repeat the process. That's that side done. Just clean the glue up. Clean the glue up there and there. There's nothing inside actually. So then what we're going to do is turn this upside down. As long as you can see that. Just take another long piece. I'm just going to put my foot on it basically. Hold it in place while I drill the pilot holes. On this side. Clean the glue up. And then just flip it around for the last side. And then with this one, you can just push it off, or actually just push it down a little bit. And I'll just get some glue on my finger for the last one, for the underneath. And you have made one acoustic panel. Ready to go. Just check the glue on the inside because that can sometimes just seep out a little bit over time. Yeah. And there you go. Jobs are good then. Up against the wall, and now a time lapse of another 14. Hello, good afternoon actually. So today I thought I would, I've already started building the acoustic panels just to check my process and my, just the way of building them. But I thought I'd just take you through how I'm building the panels because it might be useful for someone. But let me spin this camera around and I'll show you one I've already built so you can see what the finished product looks like. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got built 6 already. So let me put this under some light, even though it's dark blue so you can't really tell. But it's a slightly stretchy fabric on the outside, but then underneath is this voile, or I guess you could use it for, like, you'd see it on a wedding dress on the train, and maybe the face covering thingy. So what I've done is I've completely covered both sides of the panel. So I've stapled the voile material down the side and then pulled it tight, stapled it down this side, put the rock wool in, laid it down, thrown the voile over then because it's on a roll, pulled it tight using the roll, which I'll show you, and then stapled down that side. So the rock wool is completely encased in the voile material to hold it in place, and then the actual final covering then is a completely separate piece which is stapled on the back side, as you can see. Good morning, it's Friday week 6 and this is going to be inserted in week 5's video of making panels because the little part of the video where I showed you actually stapling the fabric onto the panels. Because I was wearing gloves, either I didn't press the record button properly, thinking I did, or I don't know, I accidentally thought I'd copied the file over and I didn't, and then I wiped the SD card. So thankfully I've got 2 more panels to build. I'm gonna flip the camera around now and show you what they're for. So these are a bit different to the panels on the wall. These 2 panels are to go on the door basically. So they're 28mm thick by 94, I believe. So I'm gonna pack the 100mm rock wool that I've got left. I'm gonna use what's left. Hopefully I've got enough that I can just pack out these 2 frames. So I've got my voile and my blue final material. We've got the staple gun of doom. So we are going to build 2 panels today. So I'm going to basically show you the wrapping process of how I wrap the rock wool with the voile to protect myself and the environment and my lungs. And then we're going to wrap it then. We're going to wrap the front with the blue material. And then I've got some cheap, simple little brackets then that I'm going to screw them onto the door. So yeah, that's this morning's one of the last jobs actually. So let's crack on. Okay, so let's roll some of this voile out. Hopefully I can do this with one hand. If not. So we're going to drop this down about there's good actually. So first off is just, and this bit doesn't need to be accurate or anything, but you're just going to gently hold that up against there, and we're going to staple along the top edge here. Yeah, I'm just going to gently hold the material. So now I just need my hammer. Be with me. That's done. So I'm just going to grab the entire thing now, turn it around. So this is where the beauty of it being on the roll is, because I can roll the material up on the roll, and now I can just pull it taut. I can pull it taut now with the roll. Pull it taut and staple, so I've got a nice tight fabric pull. Reloading. Now I need the rock wool. So I'm going to go through the rock wool now, find some bits that will fit, and I'm going to have to cut some. I know I am. So I'm going to mask up now. Always wear a mask when working with rock wool. Okay. That looks promising. Let's get rid of that from it there. A second. Oh yes, I can force you in there. That's perfect. Okay. Well, I need to cut this one. Oh, actually, do I need to cut a? Oh my God, it's like it was. Oh, I'm gonna need to cut a small sliver for the middle. I need to cut the small piece about an inch, 2.5 centimeters wide. If I actually trim this to the right width as well, it'll make my life a little bit easier. So that's the rock wall in, as you can see. Just try and hoover up any little. I'll hoover up any little excess a minute. Okay, so now we're going to turn the thing round again. We're gonna turn it over. So what you'll see is the staples from the very first stapling are on the bottom. Now I'm going to wrap it, and these staples now are going to be across the top, so there's a double layer of fabric here where they overlap each other. And now again I can just pull it tight, and I'm actually going to use the door frame as a nice brace to push up against, so I can pull this really tight. Now I can trim this off, and I need to put a fan on it. So now I can trim this. So that's the voile out of the way. Now I'm going to lift it up, staple the ends, and again pulling from the middle. So yes, when you're wrapping this way, staple at the open end, because then when you pull this side over and you staple at the open end, you've got two layers of fabric overlapping each other. Just ever so slightly, so you pull in all the fabric taut from the middle. I can just trim this excess off for now. Now I can turn this round and finish this side. So again, pull from the middle. Trim this side off and we're done. So there we go, that's the finished, that's one side finished. So there's two layers of fabric. There's only one layer of fabric on this side because that's where I wrapped it over. There's two layers overlapping each other down this side, and there'll be two layers on that side. So this rock wool now is completely encased in a very lightweight, breathable material, but the weave is nice and tight, so the fibres aren't actually getting out of that at all. So I'm going to flip this over now and do the other side. And that's the internal layer finished. So there you go. Got the fabric stretched nice and tight. that rock wool is not gonna get out there. So now it's time to get on my knees again and wrap it in the finished material. So I'm just going to roll the glue out on the floor. Oh, balls. I may have to be... I may have to be clever here. So, this is all the fabric I've got left. And I cannot spend any more money on this project. I could, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to, because these are going on the door, I am gonna have to, instead of wrapping them all the way around the back, I'm gonna have to wrap them partially around the side, I think, because I cannot spend any more money. So I'm gonna wrap this first one, possibly just to cover these staples, or maybe even halfway, actually, maybe halfway, because I need to save as much fabric then for that panel there. So I am gonna have a little think and I will get back to you. So I am going to half wrap the side. So we're going to start from the middle and work our way out. We're going to pull it as tight as we can as well, so I could save even more fabric. Trim this off as neatly as I can, because I need the other panel to still be neat. Okay, that should be enough for that one. What am I going to do with... I might wrap, because I've got the material anyway. I think I'm going to wrap all the way over and around that. Because it's there, I may as well use it to get it as nice looking as possible. Okay, so again, just pull it as tight as possible. I use my doorstop as a wedge. Come down on the floor again. Pull tight. Okay, so 2 finished panels. Just got a bit of dust on there. Yeah, there you go, from the front. Fine. I did literally run out of both fabrics. I literally ran out of oil on the last panel as well. I barely had enough to cover the whole thing, so it was a bit of a squeaky bum moment there when the roll unrolled and it was like but it was okay in the end, thankfully. But yeah, so other than that little strip that down the side. I managed to do that pretty much almost that entire side on that one. That side is the cut. I might actually run a blade down there just to make that straighter, just so it looks a bit neater when it's hanging on the door. But other than that, it's not too bad. I mean, considering they're going to be hanging on the doors. What? 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 Here we go. That's what you want. Yeah. That's what you want. That's what you always want. Attention and belly rubs. So, yeah. There we go. I mean, that's pretty much. I've just got to do some. Yeah, I just got to hang them on the wall now, on the door. So, yeah. The next time you see me, they'll be on the wall, on the doors, hung, and that'll be it. See you in a bit. Say bye-bye, Sandy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.